Hi there, this is Sheena Rowlands and today I'm sharing with you my latest layout for Hey Little Magpie. This layout features the Jen Hadfield range Peaceful Heart. So this is me just having a good look through the papers and the ephemera and things that I got from this range, and I've picked out some outside woodland photographs that I'd like to use. Decided to use the Follow Your Dreams paper as my base. That's the one with the slice of wood grain. I think that's a beautiful paper. I wish I'd got more than one actually now. And I'm going to use this as a basis as a wreath, a shape design. That's the idea. So I've opened some of the ephemera and I've had a look at that. Quite a lot of greenery, so that's going to be good. And then decided it might be easier to get my title in place first, and then I've got an idea of what space I've got left to play with. So these are the thickers from the Peaceful Heart range. They've got a lovely sort of shadow, so they're like a beigey gold and pink. So, and they're all capitals as well, so that's really nice. So I'm just laying those out on some wax paper. Basically, I'm not very good at committing initially to sticking things down, so by putting it on the wax paper first, I can see how the letters are going to stay and where they're going to actually sit in the whole design without actually having to stick them down and keep picking them back up again. So that's the plan. So it's going to be a two-word title, and we have a word above and below the photographs. So these photographs were taken outside, particularly when the children were small. We used to go out on a regular basis, walk in the woods, and just spend some family time together. I've got lots of lovely snapshots from those times. We did it over a number of years, and so yeah, I just picked a few photos that I like the look of. I know there's quite a bit of blue in this photograph. I will try and bring a bit of blue in later on, but they're all very natural tones, so I'm not concerned about that at all. So I've got the word explore outdoors there, and I like the way I'm going to try and get it to follow the rings of the wood if I can, just to give that circular shape. So that's the plan. So I'm now having a look at what ephemera I can put around these photographs, and I've picked some of the flowers and some of the leaves. Little bit of I know it sounds a bit of an issue, a bit pathetic really, but some of the ephemera's got quite a lot of white round it. I'm not a huge fan of that. So some of the ephemera, if I use it, I will trim the white down. Just feel that it makes it really stand out, and I don't necessarily need it to do that. So it's just a personal thing really, but it's just the way I feel. So I'm just looking at some papers to go behind the photographs, just trying to bring in the browns and the pinks still, and just to get them to lift off the wood grain a little bit. So they're just roughly a bit bigger. These photos are 3x4. It's just to add another layer in. So I don't know whether you've seen this range in the Hey Little Magpie shop. It's still there. There's loads of it available. Beautiful natural colours. Yeah, I'm really enjoying creating with this, and I certainly would recommend it. Really nice quality paper too. So I do recommend you check it out in the Hey Little Magpie store. So I'm just distressing the edges there. That's an old distresser from Prima, many years old, but it certainly does the job. And I just think it adds another layer of interest behind the photographs just by giving it a bit of a rough texture around the edges. So I'm going to just use a bit of double-sided tape to stick these layers together, so then I can actually get them into position on this pattern paper. I do like using pattern paper as a base. It makes a change. I did go through a phase when I just used white cardstock, but I'm also trying to use my stash in slightly different ways, so I think this works. I am following the circles on the paper, so I think it goes really well. So because of the ephemera, I decided I'm going to cut some leaves using some dies that I've got in my stash. I cut quite a few there. I only use a few in the end, but I just preferred something without the white edges. So I've stuck the title down and the photographs off camera, and I'm now just trying to get that circular shape by adding the flowers in and around the photograph. That stalk in the ephemera, I really like it. I think, or a crane, I'm not sure. Really like it, and it does make it in the final cut. Just think it's just a bit of a fun outdoor element. And you may see bottom right, there's an actual like a snail. that too makes it. I just thought there were little quirky elements that I possibly wouldn't use any otherwise. So I think actually, if it goes with the theme, it's not a big deal. So Crackley Woods, where we're walking in the Midlands, doesn't necessarily have cranes, but it's okay with me. I'm happy to add that in. So some of these flowers have been fussy cut from papers, some of them were in the ephemera. So I'm just adding some foam behind some of them just so that I can get them to lift off the background. And I'm definitely liking the way this is looking now. Now, for anybody that's watched some of my videos before, you may notice that the surroundings are a little bit different. So for the first time ever, I took my video out on the road. So I'm actually at a retreat with some friends when I'm making this layout. And very unusual circumstances for me. I've always filmed all my videos at home. So interesting to do it actually in a different environment. Really pleased with how light the images looked. I was a little bit concerned that I wouldn't be able to get it looking good for you, but actually a bit closer crop, but that's not too big a deal. But yeah, certainly something that I would try again. One of the reasons I started doing videos in the first place was to actually challenge myself, and so by doing it in a different place, that certainly was another little challenge, and it's a tick off the list. It worked really well and everybody was very tolerant. Luckily I don't record the sound at the same time, so it meant I could still chat to my friends and have a good time and get this video recorded for you. So I'm just adding some bits and pieces around tucking in bits of die cuts and the leaves. Now this is something that I wanted to do from the start. I'm actually going to cut into the rings on the paper and just scuff up the edges a little bit. I just felt it would add to the texture of the wood grain paper. So I'm going to add a few of these, and you'll see me turning it backwards and forwards, and I'm using my craft knife, which doesn't get much use these days, but perfect for this, particularly with the glass mat underneath. It was just easy to slice into the paper, and I'm just using my fingernail there just to scuff the edges of that paper. I don't really want to rip it because I want it to stay on the circular lines, but I do want it to look a little bit distressed. So I'm going to do a few of these, so you'll see me turning this repeatedly. I get braver and I make the lines longer. I think maybe that's it. So, but I just thought it was a really nice idea, and I'd added some dark blue, if you may see in the die cuts around the circle, and I'm actually going to put some dark paper behind these lines, behind these cuts, just to bring that colour in as well. So the more I do, the more I want to do, so I'm quite enjoying this. I'm trying to space them out a little bit, and I'm going to use this dark blue pattern paper just to cover them on the back. Just scraps, they're just cut roughly, so I'm just not putting the glue too near to the actual cuts, because in fact a couple of them I do make a little bit longer, but also I want them to have that, not to be flat, I want them to be lifted a little bit. So yeah, so you'll see me applying glue wildly around the outsides of these. As I've nearly finished, I just want to say, if you like what you see, give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to Hey Little Magpie and to my channel, Sheena Rowlands. We'd love to see you at both in the future. If you like my videos, I'd love you to come back to my site. Here's the full image and the close-ups. And I really love this range, and I would really recommend you check it out in the store. That's all for today, but thanks for watching, and I'll see you here soon. Bye for now.